This is part 2. Okay, anti-LGBTQ propaganda laws. Russia. For the purpose of protecting children from information advocating a denial of traditional family values. Bulgaria. On amending and supplementing the law on school education. Ugh. Okay. Anti-LGBT curriculum laws in the United States. Abstinence-only education shall remain the state standard for any sex-related education taught in the public schools. For purposes of this section, abstinence-only education includes any type of instructional program which at an appropriate age teaches the current state law related to sexual conduct, including forcible rape, statutory rape, and homosexual activity, and teaches that a mutually faithful, monogamous relationship in the context of marriage is the only appropriate setting for sexual intercourse. Oklahoma. AIDS prevention education shall specifically teach students that 1. Engaging in homosexual activity, promiscuous sexual activity, intravenous drug use, or contact with contaminated blood products is now known to be primarily responsible for contact with the AIDS virus. 2. Avoiding the activities specified in paragraph 1 of this subsection is the only method of preventing the spread of the virus. Don't say gay, Bill. Arizona. You can opt out. You can opt into any instruction regarding sexuality. Book bans. Oh, never mind. Gay game murders. Okay, 2020's anti-LGBTQ movement in the United States. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Libs of TikTok. There are two genders, male and female. Trust the science. Yeah, trust the science that you're not trusting. Because real science says that there's more than two genders. Ew. That was disgusting. I pulled a piece of hair out my mouth. Yikes. Okay, stereotypes. Bisexual people, promiscuity, gay men, appearance and mannerisms, of course we have pedophilia and predation as a stereotype, lesbian, nah. Okay, collective rape. Rape motivated against the victim's perceived sexual orientation or gender nonconformity. It is often intended to make the victim heterosexual. Gay public defense. A legal defense for assault or homicide alleging a sexual offense by the victim against the assailant. Okay, let's start. Argentina. On October 11th, 2015, transgender activist Diana Sakayan was stabbed 13 times. Her body was found in her apartment in Flores, Buenos Aires. She had been gagged, handcuffed, and viciously beaten. One of the kicks to her face was so hard it left part of the shoe sole behind. In addition to the stabbing, the evidence indicates there were two people involved in Sakayan's brutal murder. So far, only Gabriel David Moreno has been prosecuted. He was found guilty of the crime and sentenced to life imprisonment. On March 11, 2011, in St. Vincent, Buenos Aires, Tehuel de la Torre, a trans man, left his home for a job interview with Luis Alberto Ramos at Alejandro Corn. This is the last date Tehuel was seen alive. While there is no definitive information as to his whereabouts, Tehuel's cell phone was found in Ramos' home, burned, along with Tehuel's jacket and bloodstains. that were determined to be Trujillo's through DNA testing. Ramos and his friend Oscar Alfredo Montes were charged with aggravated murder due to hatred of gender identity on November 9th, 2021. Australia. In January 1987, Raymond Keane was killed in Allison Park, Randwick, Sydney. His injuries were consistent with the attackers having jumped on his chest while he lay on the ground. In January 1989, Richard Johnson was lured to a toilet block in Alexandria Park, Sydney, where he had left his phone number on the wall, where he was game bashed to death. In November 1989, John Russell was found at the bottom of Marks Park between Bondi and Tamarama with a clump of hair in his hands. Police found no suspicious circumstances. In May 1990, a high school teacher named William Wayne Tonks was found dead in his home in Ottermoon, Sydney. Several of the victims of the Snowtown murders, 1992 to 1999, were openly gay men, while others were labeled by the killers as being gay and or child abusers. Prosecutor Wendy Abraham suggests the accused men's attitude to pedophiles and homosexuals was a motive. In 2016, a gay teenager named Tyrone Unsworth ended himself after prolonged homophobic bullying at his school, which culminated with him being hospitalized after his jaw was struck with a fence used as a weapon by another boy. In January 2019, news.com.au published an investigation into the murders of several gay men in Victoria in the 1980s and 1990s. Okay, Brazil. Osvan Inacio dos Santos, 19, was attacked and murdered in September 2007 on a street near a bar where he had just won the local Miss Gay competition in the town of Ventingas in northeast Brazil. Dos Santos' naked body was found on Sunday morning, and forensic examination found his skull had been fractured and had also indicated sexual assault. Alexandre Tome Ivo Raggio, only 14 when he was brutally tortured and murdered in 2010 whilst on the way home from watching the South African World Cup at a friend's house. Many believe this attack to be motivated by homophobia, as Alexandre had been in a same-sex relationship with the attackers. On June 24, 2016, the body of Wellington Julio de Castro Mendonca was found northwest of Rio, and he was allegedly stoned to death. Morella de Colo, a 39-year-old trans woman and activist, was found strangled to death on February 19, 2017. Harika Isidoro, 24, Michele Garcia, 25, Jennifer Celia Henrique, 37, Lexia Famosina, 30, Kamala Albuquerque, 20, and Brunia Taveras, 17, were all violently killed between March and April 2017 on account of their gender identity. On February 19, 2017, a 20-year-old university student, Marcos Valdivino, was punched in the face in public in Olinda, Pernambuco, while waiting for his friends to arrive. In 2020, lesbian student Gabriela Oliveira Guimaraes was harassed and beaten by a 7 or 8 men for her sexuality in Sao Fernando do Campo. They called her slurs, then punched and kicked her until she lost consciousness. A group of trans women managed to scare the attackers away. That ends part 2.